What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Redbeard's Garage, and today we're going to be upgrading our MB200 with more power and more fuel. So we got this bike, we unboxed it last week, and we also, the week before, we built this Tillotson 225 performance engine that Go Power Sport sells. So basically we're going to upgrade this bike with the engine. We're going to pull this fake gas tank off, and we got a metal gas tank that Go Power Sport sells. You can buy this in raw steel, or you can buy it painted like this. We decided to go with the painted because it'll protect it in the meantime until we paint this red to match our fenders and everything. We also have Go Power Sport's new Super Pipe. This is a custom-made exhaust for this MB200 that tucks it in the frame and kicks it out the back. We're going to upgrade the rear shocks with some taller, stiffer springs for you big boy, and we're going to be putting some CR80 foot pegs. These are a cast steel, so they're super strong. We do got to do a little bit of welding with putting this gas tank and these foot pegs on, but it's super simple stuff. And also for our drivetrain, we're going to be using a Juggernaut CVT, keeping the rear and just upgrading the pulley on the engine with this. This will get us about 6,500 RPMs out of our engine. So we'll start tearing this thing down and upgrading these parts and take it out on the trail and show you the difference.
You're really strong.
So I'm going to want this gas tank to tuck really close to the seat, so the seat kind of touches the front of the gas tank just like it would on a motorcycle. So to do that, I'm going to have to cut off these original mounts for this bar that went around the fake gas tank, because I can't slide my gas tank back far enough. So all we're going to have to do to mount it after we cut those two tabs off is drill a hole in the frame, and we can either use a thread insert or we can drill and thread the actual tubing there to put a bolt in here. And I'm going to use some rubber isolators so this will never vibrate. Then up front, you can see we got these two notches here. We're going to take a 1-inch piece of tubing and we're going to measure it to the width of this, and then we're going to notch a half notch in it to set on this tubing and weld on. So this gas tank will slide on and hook on that 1-inch tubing and set down in the rear, and we can drill and tap a hole right there for a metric, probably like an M6 to bolt into. That'll hold our gas tank, and we'll clear our handlebars and everything. That'll give it a really good look. So I put a rubber wire grommet in this gas tank, and that's going to give it a cushion so it's not metal on metal. And we use the Milwaukee drill tap. It's a drill bit with a tap built on. You just got to be real careful once the tap starts threading to make sure you stop and put it in reverse and back it out.
Put it in reverse, Terry!
So now we have a threaded hole in our tube for a bolt to go down. We just need to make this front tube that'll set right in here. Pretty sure 1 inch will fit it, but we may have to drop down to 7/8 or something. I had to put a piece of rod stock in there to make up the difference, because when I rebuilt this clamp a while back, which is way better than the one that came with it, but I didn't make it hold 7/8. As you can see, we're like probably 2/3 of the way through that piece of tube. Now what we can do is go off of our center of that notch, and this piece total needs to be 3 1/16. Now with these aftermarket foot pegs, if you don't put a stop, they'll just go forward. So what we're gonna do is take a 1/4 inch piece of steel, probably about a 2-inch piece, maybe 3-inch piece, and we're gonna weld it to the back of this, and that's gonna stick out just enough to grab onto this foot peg. So the foot peg can collapse up like that, just in case you hit a stump or whatever, but it can't collapse no further down, you know, this way. You wanna use 1/4 inch because we've used 1/8 inch before, and that 1/8 inch steel, if you jump this thing and your weight, you use this to brace yourself, it can bend it. So make sure to use 1/4 inch, 3/16, something like that. So we'll go get that cut on our bandsaw, and we're gonna do probably a 3-inch long piece. Just give us a good brace, and then we can weld that on, and these are done. So it had zip ties holding this on, so I used the drill tap and did 6mm bolts right here and used stainless steel soft clamps. So our brake line is secured really nice, Clark. So now we can go ahead and upgrade our rear shocks and slap the seat back on as well as the engine. So this is our shock upgrade in height. You can see the coil springs are a lot deeper. I like to use these for small go-karts, so of course I keep all my shocks unless they're just wore out. We'll have to retension our chain because this pivot point isn't the same. We have to, this chain does get through the suspension travel. It does get a little loose, but it never normally gets loose enough to kick it. So we'll have to retension the chain by loosening this 17, using a 19 and a 17 to loosen this shaft bolt, and then we can loosen this jam nut, tighten this up, and it'll drag the axle back.
Okay.
Now Go Power Sports does make a replacement side piece that's already got this notch cut in it, but we didn't get that, so we're just going to go trim ours. I think I have it pretty much lined up. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than what I actually drew out, but I'll probably just cut it on a bandsaw and then go with a Dremel and shape it round. So we got our fuel line hooked up. We went from 3/16, which is what this tank is, to a 1/4 inch fuel filter. And then we jumped up to 1/4 inch to go to this carb because it actually has like a 5/16 or so little bung on it. So we just shoved 1/4 inch on it. And we also cut the original plug off that went to that Jim Dong engine and soldered on a ring terminal to hook up right here, and then also a bullet connector to plug up to the governor or the kill switch wire. So everything's hooked up, it's ready to be started. But actually it's not, I lied to you right to your face. We're gonna run a 54-inch Mikuni cable that Go Power Sports has. So we have to pull off the twist throttle, pull this cable out because this is a standard style. This will only work for the stock carb styles. You have to have the little Mikuni nipple, which I'll show you in a minute on there. So we'll keep this for another mini bike. This Mikuni cable has a ton of adjustment right there at the actual bend, and it also has a little bit there, but I like to sink that in, you know, quite a bit just so we got a safe amount. I'm gonna pop that little eyelet hole, and it sets just like that, so when you twist it, that's all it's doing. Now this has a little dimple and a little hole drilled in the tube, so we have to make sure we line that up. There we go. You don't want to over tighten these because this assembly's all plastic. Go Power Sports does make a better twist throttle setup, like it's a little higher quality, kind of like a dirt bike would have on it, but we're not going to replace it just yet. Normally these last a pretty good while. I'm going to go ahead when we have this gas tank off, push and put a piece of foam down through here, or rubber or something, to isolate that tank.
Oop. There it is.
Guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. That freaking Tillotson 225's a ripper. It's actually meaner. So we got a Tillotson 225 back in the day for Becca's MB200, and it's way meaner than that one. I don't know why that should have been spec'd out the same. We built this one, and the other one, we got it already pre-assembled, and I'm pretty sure Go Power Sports has been using the same parts in them. But this thing flies. It'll do around 60 mile an hour. We are going to top speed run it later after we do the front brakes and everything. So that will be the next episode, is doing the front brakes, the whole kit that Go Power Sports has, and beefing up the front end. We're also going to show you guys how to put an LED headlight bulb into the factory headlight housing and hook up a battery system using a Milwaukee drill battery. You can use a DeWalt or anything, but those will be the next couple videos on this. Let us know what you think about this MB200. She's going to get better and better. We're going to make this the ultimate mini bike, and we are in love with this thing already. It's super fast. So stay tuned, guys. We got a lot of awesome stuff. Make sure to check out those links in the video's description, where you can find every part that we used on this and are going to use in future videos. So let us know what you think about this bike, and we'll see you on the next one. We love you, and God bless.